All right. Welcome back in, you guys, to One Piece chapter 1156. It's been a long break week, but we're finally back at it. So, real quick though, if you have not read the spoilers for yourself yet, I will be linking it down in the pinned comment to the post where I found them, and I'll also be typing it out piece by piece, so if you just want the bullet points, check them out there, and then get out of this video, because today we're just here to discuss what the hell is going on in this chapter. We're here to have some fun with it, and brother, Oda's doing it. Oda said, King Harold who? Loki who? It is an old generation flashback with Rocks and Roger at the freaking forefront, man. So, for the past 2 weeks, we've been riding on the Rocks D Xebec hype train. The guy's just absolutely crazy. His crew is crazy. There's just so much to love about Rocks. But you can't have yin without yang. You can't have yang without yin. So, wait, did I say that wrong? Either way. So, Oda decided to give us a Roger chapter. Yes, that is right. We got a freaking Roger chapter this week. And, we have some feats? Question mark? It's tough because, like, you know, these are feats. They're not bad, but it's not exactly killing an admiral level feat. So, getting right into it, we start the chapter with the Kuja Pirates of Old. We see Gloriosa as the captain, and we see Shaki as Gloriosa's number 2. It's nice, right? We already knew that Gloriosa was a former pirate. We also knew that Shaki was the former empress. We knew this all was a canon, but we didn't really know how they, like, fit into the story per se. So here we have it. We have the Kuja Pirates being idols around the world. Everybody loves them, and people love Shaki especially, even though she's the vice captain, because she is more beautiful than Gloriosa, which I'm kind of excited for, you know? We know what a young Gloriosa looks like. She looks great. Shaki's better? You know, Shaki's better than Gloriosa? Are you kidding me? Can't wait to see that. So, we see that the Kuja Pirates and the Roger Pirates are clashing in this chapter at sea, and the Roger Pirates could not go 100% against them because they are, they're beautiful. Hey, it's a One Piece thing, right? Like, you can't fight women at 100%. You just can't do it, man. It's impossible. We come to find out that Gloriosa indeed was in love with Roger. Kind of parallels Boa Hancock, huh? Boa Hancock being in love with Luffy, which is crazy, mind you, because we know that even though Gloriosa loves Roger, Roger doesn't end up with Gloriosa, right? Roger ends up with Port Gas D Rouge. So I'm just curious, but what does that mean for Luffy and Boa Hancock's future? I know. Romance is not important in One Piece currently, but end of story, right? If we ever get like a 10, 20-year time skip after Luffy becomes Pirate King, they might not be a thing, man. You know, if this parallel runs deep, Luffy's not gonna be with Boa. You know, that's how I interpreted it at least, right? So yes, Gloriosa was in love with Roger, which I just thought overall was interesting, not because of the parallel, but because we know where Gloriosa ends up. She doesn't end up on Roger's crew. Gloriosa ends up on Rox's crew. Huh? Rox is fighting Roger at God Valley. Why did Gloriosa join Rox? Did Gloriosa betray Rocks the minute they saw Roger? Like, how does that work? It just feels really odd right now, but we do have to remember that Rocks D Xebec recruits people via Davy Back fights. So maybe Rocks runs into the Kuja Pirates and he says, hey, Davy Back, fight me. You win, you can take whatever you want, but if I win, I will take Gloriosa. I think that is what happened. That is the only way this could possibly make sense. So yeah, I think the Kuja Pirates unfortunately lose a Davy Back fight later to the Rocks Pirates. That is my headcanon. But going on though, the reason why Roger didn't reciprocate Gloriosa's feelings is because Roger was actually enthralled by Shaki. Yes, that is right. Oda is introducing a love triangle here. And get this, Shaki does not care for Roger, because Shaki loves Rayleigh, which we kind of already knew about, right? Because they're currently hanging out at Sabaody together. So yeah, we have this whole love triangle going on, and as they're fighting, as this clash is going down, we see Garp approach. Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp approaches them, so the Kuja pirates end up fleeing the scene while the Roger pirates cover them and fight the Marines. Roger and Garp then have a Clash of Conquerors hockey, which, yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Last week, we had the clash between Rocks and Harold. That was epic. So Oda said, okay, we need to give Roger one more, right? Roger had the Whitebeard clash like 200 chapters ago. Time to give him another one. So yes, we do get a pretty cool Roger and Garp clash. I kind of wonder if we're going to see named attacks from them. Maybe that's greedy, but whenever we see characters fight like this, characters that are dead or like not in their primes anymore, I do love seeing named attacks, seeing what they had in their arsenal. That is why I love Garp's Galaxy Impact. Like, imagine if Garp threw out the Galaxy Impact, but he never said it. Then it would just be a giant punch, right? I think the names really do add to it. Of course, it's a very anime thing, but I just love it, dude. So hopefully we get a named Roger attack. I think it'd be so freaking cool. Same with Garp. Like, imagine if Garp in the past had like a smaller version of Galaxy Impact, like Planetary Impact. I don't know. I'm just getting into headcanon now. So we go on a little bit more and we cut back to the Rocks Pirates. Yes, that is right. You know, the brief spoilers do not even mention King Harold, man. We're supposed to be getting his backstory. Nowhere in sight, brother. Not complaining though. So we go to Hachinosu and we see that Rocks has recruited a couple of new members. We got Big Mom, Kaido, which makes sense. You know, given last chapter, we ended off 44 years in the past, and that is when Kaido and Big Mom did join. So this was all in line. Next up, though, we finally get the Silver Axe reveal. Yes! You know, Silver Axe, nobody really cares about Silver Axe. Let me just get that straight. But he is one of those named characters that we heard about and we just never saw, right? For Silver Axe, we have no feats, no nothing. We just heard his name and we were like, whoa, who's that guy? We finally get his reveal in this chapter, as well as a younger version of Captain John, the alcoholic from Thriller Bark, which I think he has aura. I don't know if Captain John is even a strong fighter, but you gotta admit, Captain John just throwing back a bottle of beer or whiskey or something, it's just always so freaking cool. No feats on the board, mind you, but just a cool looking character overall. So we see them all hanging out at Hachinosu, and Rocks tells them all that Elbaf is very important when it comes to the destruction of the Holy Land. So yes, that is still Rocks' goal. And he explains at the end of the chapter that to destroy the WG, he needs 2 devil fruits. And one of them is an Elbaf. And aside from that, another key component when it comes to destroying the WG would be with Galley Law. Yes, he wants the Galley Law Giants. Where is he going to get these guys? I don't know. Does he know they're at Punk Hazard? Does he know that they're potentially trapped by the world government at this point in time? We have no clue. But yes, those are the 2, or I guess 3 things that they need. So as far as the Devil Fruit and Elbaf goes, I think this further, or at least in my opinion, reinforces the idea that the legendary Devil Fruit of Elbaf was the Sun God Nika fruit. Because let's be real for a minute, right? If you're talking about a devil fruit that is needed to beat Emu, I think it's the Sun God Nika fruit, right? At least one of 2 of them is the Sun God Nika fruit. And then Elbaf having that fruit makes sense. They worship the Sun God. Of course, they would pass that down from generation to generation. And then the timeline also matches up. King Harold dies, somebody takes the devil fruit, and then 1 year later, Shanks gets the Gumma Gumma no Mi and Luffy eats it. It just all fits. So if it was a different devil fruit, I would kind of be shocked at this point. As far as the second devil fruit needed to topple the world government, not too sure what that could be. I am leaning towards the Yami Yami no Mi though, because that is what Blackbeard really wanted, right? Blackbeard saw the Yami Yami no Mi, his eyes went dark, and he killed Thatch for it and he left. I think the Yami Yami and the Nika Nika fruit are the 2 fruits needed to beat the world government. I think thematically that makes the most sense. Light, dark, sun god, dark god, like it's all right there. As far as why he needs the Galley Law Giants, I personally just think that's an easy slam dunk because, you know, we talked about them maybe creating Pluton and leaving the blueprints behind for Water 7. So, yeah, they are essentially just the ancient weapons, right? You get the Galley Law Giants, you get them to build Pluton or anti-Pluton or whatever it is, boom, you're good to go. Hell, I mean, we don't know how skilled these guys are. They could even build Uranus, or maybe even another Noah's Ark. Like, these guys and their potential, I think, is just high up there right now as far as shipwrights go. So yes, I do think that Rocks is planning a lot here. And what's funny is that we know that Rocks doesn't really do any of this, right? The Galileo Giants are still at Punk Hazard to this very day. Blackbeard has the Yami Yami, Luffy has the Nika Fruit. So I'm expecting Rocks to fail miserably pretty soon. Maybe we'll see God Valley. You know, with how much we're following Roger and Rocks right now, I would not be shocked if we see God's Valley next week or the week afterwards. As far as this goes, though, I do wonder if at this point in time, Rocks has the Yami Yami in his possession. You know, I said he failed because he ultimately did, but we do know that the world government eventually takes the treasure of Hachinosu. That could have been one of the 2 legendary devil fruits. It could have been the Yami Yami, and that is why Rocks went to God Valley. And also, it makes sense for the Yami Yami to be at God's Valley because what were they auctioning off? Well, not auctioning. What were they rewarding to the champions of God Valley? Well, devil fruits. They were offering up devil fruits to whoever had the highest score or the highest kill count on that island. So taking the Yami Yami, which is a legendary devil fruit, and holding it there, I think just fits really well. But of course, so that does beg the question of what happened to the Yami Yami, because nobody ate it then, right? Unless, I don't know, Rocks ate it on the island and then he died and then the fruit went somewhere else. Because it's like, okay, if the fruit is on the island, how did it end up with Thatch years later? Like, did it just fall into the ocean and then it just drifted away? Or did somebody take it and then they never ate it? I think Rocks ate it and then he just died. I think that is my opinion right now, if I had to like put a pin on it. But yeah, overall, good stuff. I think this does very much so set up Blackbeard for success. Because thinking about Blackbeard, right? Talking about his devil fruit potentially being one of the legendary ones was always in the books, right? The Yami Yami no Mi is classified as a Logia, but it doesn't act like a Logia. It was always special. And then as far as Rocks wanting the Galileo Giants for the ancient weapons, I mean, hell, Blackbeard has Caribou, and Caribou is about to tell Blackbeard about Pluton and Shirahoshi. So yes, Blackbeard, in a way, is set up even higher because of this chapter than he already was. But yeah, man, overall, this was an amazing chapter. What did you guys think about it down below? Let me know all your thoughts and your theories. Do you enjoy the Roger feats we got, right? Roger clashing with Gloriosa and then clashing with Garp. I think that could be pretty good. Like I said, if we get named attacks, I think that'll be phenomenal. But I do think, funny enough, I do think Rocks kind of steals the show at the very end. Just him talking about the devil fruits, you know, him with more crew members. That will never not be epic. But again, let me know all your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow when more spoilers, or the full spoilers, drop. Until then, you guys take care, peace out, and stay safe. And also, if you want to check me out on the side, I have a gaming channel here on YouTube called Syvduck, and I also stream every other night at Syvduck as well over on Twitch. So feel free to check that out. But until then, catch you later.